I called a lot of guys in. I even called Mae Questel. I called all types of good voices that were in New York. And finally, I never was satisfied with it. I tape them and I listen to it and I draw according to it. It didn't feel right. So I finally called Jack Mercer. And he says, Jack, geez, I'm having a problem. You think you'd be interested in doing Felix the Cat? He says, well, let me try it. So he did the voice, and I said, geez, you know, it sounds pretty good. And he came up with the voice of Felix. He came up with the voice of the professor. He came up with the voice we used to speed up the film to get Poindexter.
Now, Felix, take good care of Poindexter. I've got work to do. Look out, Professor! Well, Poindexter, what'll we do now?
Let's conjugate some Latin verbs, Mr. Felix.
Sounds like fun.
Before we had the recording studio, we used to use the hallway for the echo chamber.
I was given an EV microphone and a Magnacord tape recorder, and my father said, Donald, set it up and tell me when it's ready. After we recorded Jack's voices, it was edited on a moviola, put into the context of the pilot, and now it needed music. One of my father's best friends was, I guess you'd say, my mentor in the music business, Winston Sharples.
Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. You laugh so much your sides will ache, your heart will go pit-a-pat. Watching Felix, the wonderful cat.
The result was the first pilot of Felix the Cat. It was magical, I have to say. Still today, if you look at a lot of the style of the animation on Nickelodeon and the Powerpuff Girls, you know, any of the Rugrat stuff, a lot of the modern animation today, same look and feel as the Translux Felix the Cat series. Thicker line, simplistic backgrounds, the colors, very vibrant color palette. So in many ways, that series was a launching pad for many, many other styles of animation.
Felix, to me, it's a cornerstone, you know, on my grave, you know, plus Messmer's. And it'll continue on and on and on and on, because the merchandiser now has hit a spot where it's one of the most popular cats in the world. And Felix has sold twice in New York, to 2 different stations where it never happened before in any other cartoon. It's still making a circuit after so many years, since 1962 when I finished, still making a circuit and getting more popular now than ever.
So I figured I'd really like to do something with my father. And so I went to him and I said, hey, why don't we do a feature film? There's never been a feature film of Felix the Cat. He said, great idea. So I called a friend of mine, Pete Brown, who wrote a lot of the Cream hits, Sunshine of My Love and White Room. And I said, hey Pete, do you want to write a script with me? So he goes, sure, mate, why not? That's my English accent. So we got together and we wrote Felix the Cat the movie. Brought the whole package over to my father and said, hey Dad, here's the script, here's the studio, it's all yours. And I remember he looked at me, and this was in 1985, and he said, Donald, he says, I don't have the strength right now. I'm not feeling well, and I'd really like you to finish the movie. There's really no other person that I'd like to see do this but you. you're the one that can keep this thing going. So that's basically how I was passed the mantle for Felix the Cat, to help put words in Felix's mouth and expressions on his face. So the movie was pretty successful. So we felt that we really should be starting a new licensing and merchandising campaign. Just look at all of the Felix merchandise. So in 1996, I made a deal with Phil Roman, and we decided to do a TV show, a little edgy, called The Twisted Tales of Felix. NHK asked if I would do a television series based on a little character I came up with called Baby Felix. So we went in, we showed them some designs and some layouts and some story ideas, and we wound up doing 65 5-minute episodes of Baby Felix.
Felix has a baby, baby Felix. Meow.
You know, if you can draw a circle, you can draw Felix. We just finished the latest animated Felix the Cat project called Felix the Cat Saves Christmas. So, enjoy Felix the Cat Saves Christmas. Radio!
I think of them all my loved ones who made me feel tall. They taught me how to laugh and how to face my fears, and I thank them for all the memories through the years, through the years. Someday I know we'll be together in some cartoon show, and we'll all have a big laugh and share some loving tears. Till then I thank them for all these memories through the years, through the years, all these memories through the years.
It's stupid, Probius.